Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and these are going to be the 10 crowdfunding campaigns coming in 2024 that I'm most excited about. Now, this list will change throughout the year, I guarantee it. There are a bunch of games that will show up, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. There may be games that I forgot even existed, and there are a few games that I know are coming, but unfortunately I don't think they're public yet, and so I can't talk about them just yet. But, with that said, timestamps to everything down below, and let's go ahead and dive into it, starting off with my number 10, and these are ranked in order from least excited all the way to most excited. My number 10 is going to be God of War, the board game for Command Games. Now, when this campaign comes, or when more information comes out about this, this can absolutely climb in the ranks. I'm a notorious fanboy for Command Games. I'm interested in almost all of them. Some work for me, some don't. Some stick around, some don't, but I generally like their games. I like the over-the-top miniatures. I like the campaigns. I like how much of a good value you get in their campaigns, but I also just like the games themselves. That's a big deal. I like the games themselves. And I love the God of War video game. I've played through most of the last one, and I've actually finished it. I kind of want to go back and finish it now, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But overall, the God of War video games I think are fantastic, and combined with Command, it just has me very excited for this campaign. The only reason it's number 10 for me is because of how little we actually know about anything. They kind of said, hey, our goal is to make it feel like the video game, and that's all we have. We have nothing else, and so I am excited for this one. It just goes down relative to where the excitement could be. This is currently just kind of a tease more than anything else, and that's going to be a number 10. My number 9 is a game that I know will be fine, I know I'll enjoy, I know I'll like, but I don't necessarily knock it out of the park, and that's going to be River Valley Glassworks. I had a chance to play this one at PAX Unplugged. I wish I had more images of this one, but it's going to be coming to you from All Play, art by Andrew Bosley, and this is an Azul-like experience. The general idea of River Valley Glassworks is you're gathering these beads, these pieces of glass from the river, and you're trying to score them based on a similar scoring mechanism if you've ever played... Oh my gosh, Subastral? Subastral. If you haven't played Subastral from Renegade Games, it has a similar scoring mechanism, but with a much more interesting selection process of how you try to get these gems. You want to kind of get a little bit of everything, but there's different rarities and how you score them. You score for variety, but you score for the most. Similar scoring system to Caesar as well, to a small degree, but very different. I really like my play so far of River Valley Glassworks. I don't think it's going to be a knockout of the park, oh my gosh, best experience ever, but I think it's going to be a good, easy game to table. And it does feel similar to Azul, but I'll say unlike Azul, I like this one at higher player counts. To me, Azul is a 2-player only game. That's where it thrives. River Valley Glassworks works great at 2. It's very tight, very tough back and forth, but it works better at higher player counts too. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to the campaign. My number 8, is going to be Colosseum and Colosseum Avtatus over here, coming to you from Fantasia Games. Now, this one could go higher, but I'm a little bit mixed on where this one is. On the one hand, we have Fantasia Games, because Fantasia Games so far has knocked it out of the park, with Endless Winter being fantastic, and Unconscious Mind being even better, and so I'm incredibly interested in what they're going to do, both to Colosseum, as well as to Colosseum Avtatus, which is his own standalone title. And then, of course, the graphic design, the presentation, it manages to have the art of the Micho while not feeling like an overdone genre. Sometimes the Micho can feel like it's a little overdone. This feels very distinctive, very unique, very well done, while still having his palette there. It's really well done. I love the presentation of the games. The only reason this is number 8 for me is Colosseum as a game I liked but did not love. I thought Colosseum was a good experience, but it wasn't for me a keeper. I know that they making some changes. They have the full original game for those who just want that, and they'll have some changes and updates for those who want that, and then they have an entirely new standalone game. That's more what I'm excited for. There's only so much excitement I could have for a game that didn't work for me as well. And again, Colosseum was fine. I like Colosseum. Please don't make a mistake with it. I thought it was a good game, but it was not a keeper for me. And so for me, I'm intrigued by Colosseum, but the main excitement here is Avtatus, which is a totally different standalone game. They have the same, title, universe, or whatnot, but they are different systems, different games. If a Colosseum was not for you, you shouldn't pass up on Avtatus, and Colosseum was for you. Avtatus may well be one that's interested in you as well. My number 7 is going to be Resident Evil, specifically Resident Evil 4, but I don't have anything to show you for Resident Evil 4. Steamforged Games has brought you 3 Resident Evil games so far. They had Resident Evil 2, then 3, then 1. That's the order. Now they're going for 4. Finally, in the 4th spot, they have 4. They are now on track. Resident Evil 4 is coming to crowdfunding in 2024. And I like Resident Evil the board game a lot. I like the series a lot. I haven't played 2, I like 3, I like 1 even more. 1 comes after 3, again, remember that, I know it's confusing. But Resident Evil, I think, gives you a great tense system where you have to conserve your ammo, you have to be mindful of closing and opening doors, you have to use all the tools at your disposal to try to manage the enemies around you, and the tools do not just mean shooting things, it often means running around, positioning yourself, blowing up a barrel, doing a lot of other things that make the game really intricate. To me, this kind of gave me the same feeling as Machina Arcana, but in a much rules-lighter experience, a more accessible way of playing through that experience. I liked it a lot. I like Resident Evil the board game a lot, and I'm excited for Resident Evil 4 and what they're going to be doing with that one when it comes to crowdfunding in 2024. We have Wroth the board game as my number 6 over here. I think I can never keep track when I do these over here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. My number 6 is going to be Wroth the board game from Chip Theory Games. This one, again, I don't have a lot of information around it. What I do know is it's Manny Tremblay as the art, it's Chip Theory as the design, and it's an area control as the core mechanic. That is enough for me. I know with God of War, I'm like, hey, I don't know enough about this game, so I'm going to put it at number 10. And with Wroth, I'm like, hey, I don't know enough about this game, but it's my number 6. But part of that is a testament to Chip Theory. Now, I will say that the art itself, I love Chip Theory and I love Manny Tremblay in general. The art is not pulling me in offhand. Off the bat, that cover art, it's not doing to me what Manny Tremblay normally does or what Chip Theory normally does. I'm less intrigued based on the art. For me right now, but who they are, who the people are behind the game has me incredibly interested. When I say art, I mean that one piece we see so far. I'm very interested in this one though, but again, we know nothing about it right now, so it's really just the strength of the people behind it that has me this interested for a game that I have this little information on. My number 5 is Defenders of the Realm Legends Retold. This is one I had a chance to play at PAX Unplugged, and I went from a game that I wasn't that excited about to a game I am very excited for. See, I played the original Defenders of the Realm, and I thought it was good, but for me, I was like, you know what, it feels too similar to Pandemic, I will just hold on to and keep Pandemic. But I don't feel that way about Legends Retold. When I sat down and played it, I thought they did a great job as far as bringing it to the table, as far as making an experience that was incredibly fun to play through. You had asymmetric characters you were playing as. You had a board that gave you the character the ability to have incredibly cool turns where you felt incredibly powerful, and yet the board bounced right back at you. So you were able to have sweeping turns. Look at all the things I did. Look at how strong I am. And the board's like, great, awesome. Also, here's a whole new wave, just as scary, just as bad for you to deal with as you try to outlast the generals, as you try to slowly take down the generals, and try to keep the pacing in your favor before the dragons and the generals invade your castle in the game. I thought they did a great job with one as far as what they did with the changes to the system. Again, I think the original game was good. I don't think it's a bad game, but for me, I'd rather play Pandemic when I was comparing them. And Legends Retold doesn't have that same sense of similarity. It still has the mechanic of an overflow of 3 flows on, but the way it's done is so differently, as well as the overall game structure around it is so different. To me, this has the bones of Defenders of the Realm, and past that, really feels like they did a great job of updating it, of making it feel like an excellent experience in 2023, or I guess in 2024 when it comes to crowdfunding. My number 4 is going to be 20 Strong Tanglewoods. Chip Theory does have 2 on this list, although this one I know more about because it's the 20 Strong game, so at least I know more about how it plays. And I debated where this one lies as far as my excitement, because on the one hand, sure, it's more 20 Strong decks. I already have 3 of those. On the other hand, I like the 20 Strong system, and I like the variety of decks, and so I am excited for Tanglewoods. And this, again, is an association with Chip Theory and Manny Tremblay. It has the art of Manny Tremblay, the system of 20 Strong from Chip Theory Games, and I am very into the art in this one. I love the theory, the premise. The Tanglewoods red, white, and gold, the different characters, the different presentation, but bringing you different decks and different gameplay experiences to 20 Strong, which is a system that I love. 20 Strong is, I think, one of my favorite games from 2023, a game that plays incredibly well solo, gives you an excellent experience, gives you a variety of decks to go through. I do want more content for the system. I do want more decks to play through and experience, and so I am very excited for 20 Strong Tanglewoods. That's going to be my number 4 most anticipated crowdfunding title in 2024. My number 3 is going to be Corpse of Discovery, a game set in the world of Manifest Destiny, which is a title. There is a change. There's a whole thing about it. This is basically, it was originally called Manifest Destiny. It's coming to you from Off the Page Games, and it was based on the comic of the name. There was pushback against the title, the other associations it can have, and so they have changed this. Now Corpse of Discovery with a little subtext, a game set in the world of Manifest Destiny, so a little bit of a mouthful to go through, but Corpse of Discovery. This is one I have had the chance to play already, and I think it's fantastic. This is a cooperative deduction game where you're going through a map and trying to puzzle out the logic of where things are based on certain rule sets that are in each world you're in. So each of the scenarios you're going through, there are rule sets as far as how things operate. You know the trees are next to water or rock. You know that rock is in the same column as a fort. You know that a fort is going to be in the same. You have all these rules, and you're trying to slowly uncover the landscape to accomplish your specific goals while being mindful of the rules. If you like games like The Search for Planet X, if you like games like, what's that other one I really like? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it. It was originally called Pachamama. Tiwanuku. If you like Tiwanuku, if you like these types of games, this will give you that feeling, but it gave you a cooperative experience, which some of these games don't always do. Some do. I think, what is it? Alice in Wonderland does it? No, it's not called Alice. Wonderland's Paint the Garden. Paint the Roses. Paint the Roses has that cooperative aspect, but for me, Corpse of Discovery really felt the most like Tiwanuku and Search for Planet X while giving it to you in a cooperative system, and I really enjoyed playing through this one. I'm looking forward to the final game when it shows up. Right now all I have over here is the cover art. I'll be covering it on the channel, I'm sure, for the crowdfunding campaign, because I mean, I played it and I liked it. I'd be surprised if I wasn't covering it. But yeah, this is Course of Discovery. I thought it was an excellent game, really well done, and I'm very much looking forward to this one. This is my number 3 most anticipated for 2024. My number 2 most anticipated is How to Save a World, coming to you from Burnt Island Games. How to Save a World is one that's been on my mind since I played it. Now, to be very, very clear, I played half a game of this. I did not play a full game, so take that into account. Sometimes you have that hype of, you know, ooh, that was really fun as far as how it comes together and how it puzzles out, and sometimes it doesn't really play out even across a full game, let alone after 4 or 5 games. This could be a huge letdown. I have no idea. But based on the half game I played of this, I really have had this on my mind since I played it. It's effectively a worker placement game with tableau building, with research and science, as you try to work together to try to save a planet by leaning into different ways to save the planet. Do you blast the asteroid out of the space? Do you put up shields, or do you just evacuate everyone entirely? And that has a gameplay mechanism as far as the kind of almost a stock-taking aspect as far as where you're putting your energy and your points. If you have more points into blasting the asteroid out of space, and that is successful, you'll get more points. Versus if you invested more into the shield, but you didn't need that, you get a little less points. So a little bit of a stock-taking element combined with a worker placement game, combined with some interesting mechanisms as far as the worker placement zones, as far as moving back and forth between zones, with excellent tableau building, good card play. From what I saw of How to Save a World, I have had this on my mind since I played it. I am looking forward to playing the final version of this game. So, or even the full prototype. I want to play this game properly. That's what I want to do with this game. How to Save a World. Really enjoyed this one, and this is my number 2 most anticipated for 2024. And then my number 1 most anticipated of 2024 is Dante: The Invasion of Hell by Creative Game Studios. This is another one I had a chance to play at Gen Con. I should be diving into this one more, but this is basically bringing you a dungeon crawler set in the world of Dante. But what I had a chance to play at Gen Con just felt like a rewarding experience. It felt like it could be an excellent, accessible, yet challenging solo game. It could be an excellent, yet accessible, challenging cooperative game. It's basically a cooperative game, but you can play it solo. I had a lot of fun playing through this, like a single session. Again, a single session. Always take it with a grain of salt when I haven't even had a chance to, like, I'm not even covering the prototype. It's less than that. It's a partial experience of what the game has to offer, but I had a lot of fun with this one. I think it could be a strongly accessible dungeon crawler with a lot of theme, a lot of fun combat. It just felt fun. It felt fun as you go through it. I'm really looking forward to Dante. This is my number 1 most anticipated for 2024, at least as of right now. And those are my 10. Those are my 10 most anticipated crowdfunding campaigns for 2024, at least based on where things are right now. I'm sure it'll change throughout the year, but until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one. There was this woman once who had twins, but unfortunately she was at a point in her life where she couldn't keep them, and so she had to give them up for adoption. And they searched, she and her husband looked around for a while for a family that would be a good fit, and they couldn't find a family that wanted both, and so they eventually reluctantly had to make the choice to split them up. Which was sad, it was hard, it was a tough choice, but they wanted to go to good families, and they found good families. They found a family in Egypt, a family in Spain. The family in Egypt took one of the twins, and they called him Amal. And the family in Spain took another one of the kids and they called him Juan. And 18 years later, Juan became an adult, and he started looking for his family. And he found his birth mother online, and he reached out to her, and they started communicating. And eventually, he sent her a picture, and the mother was like overcome, like just seeing a picture of Juan, like it was a lot. It was a lot. Like, these are her twins, these are her babies, and she had to give them up, and it wasn't like it was a hard choice. And she's talking to her husband, like the picture really evoked all these feelings in her, and she's like, I need to see a picture of Amal now. And her husband responded saying, they're twins. Once you've seen Juan, you've seen Amal.